Okay, sorry about that. I see that the chat is going. I had to get my hydration figured out and a couple other things. So we're going to start here in just a tiny, tiny bit. Um, Hydration is very important. Is this the archaeology world, the same one where you excavated the ruins, or is this a different one? This is the same one. So I'm going to do a quick little intro here. For people who are not familiar with the archaeology world. So let's go ahead and start while we're at it. Here we go. Yeah, so we are here in the archaeology world. Oh, let me turn down that music. That is super loud. Oh, no, it's not. It's back down to proper levels. Okay, good. Good. It's just super loud through my headset. All right. All right. Well, oh, and now my chat's gone. Hold on. Let me get the chat back up so I can see everyone. There we go. You are all back and I can see you. All right. So welcome everyone. Welcome. Good to see people in the comments here. Hydrate or dihydrate? You know, maybe I'll tell you guys about the weird ass surgery I had where I have to like super hydrate from now on for the rest of my life. Maybe later in the stream. Ooh, really twitchy mouse. Okay. So welcome. Oh, Panos. Hydrate, yes. Welcome. Rejoice, my friend. All right, so welcome back to the archaeology world. My name is Thuskalos. I'm a professional archaeologist and certified interpretive guide. And if this is your first time here seeing the archaeology world, wow, you got a lot to catch up on. So you probably want to get started on that, but after the stream, because I'm going to give you a quick little tour for those of you who are not familiar with this archaeology world. Though most of you are going to be familiar with it because, well, I mean, this is the world that sort of catapulted my mediocre success in YouTube. So yeah, it's my first time. Well, so here we go. Let me show you. I did this. Those of you who have been playing Minecraft for a little while should recognize this as the trail ruins. I excavated this entire set of trail ruins here, like I would in the real world, being a real world archaeologist, using proper excavation techniques and documentation. And then I even went so far as to do interpretation. And then, because a lot of people were asking for it, I actually had a museum built. I didn't build a museum. Actually, in fact, MC Oda built the museum, which, fun fact, I did actually invite him to join on this stream. So he might pop in, he might not. We'll see. If he's busy, no biggie, but I did extend the offer. And he built this museum, which is fantastic. And I actually populated the inside with artifacts, and he took some inspiration from real life museums, which I think is freaking awesome. This looks like something you would see in the real world. I mean, there are people who, so many people who saw this and are like, oh, this looks just like, you know, whatever museum from wherever they're from. And each one of the rooms in here has a theme. Some of them are like this one is the farming theme, so we found a lot of farming stuff when it comes to the trail ruins. This one is the color theme, where dyes and terracotta and windows and stuff like that, and each one has sort of a recreated room in it, right? Then this, which is my favorite part, because I think this is cool. He did this glass walkway over a reconstruction of the main road through the trail ruins, which I think is awesome. And this actually, because of this, I actually started to notice these spaced holes here that are very evenly spaced as you go down. So yeah, cool stuff. You come into this one. This one is the metals one, and smelting and armor. You come into this one. This is the clay one. So lots of really cool stuff, cool themes. You come out back and there is a food vendor, which you normally wouldn't find at a museum. I guess it depends on the museum, but it was super cool. And I really, I mean, I love this thing. This is awesome. Oda outdid himself with this construction. And what's cool about this is that we recreate this layout, well, not layout, but format for the other stuff. Oh yeah, I do want to show you this too. So over here is a reconstruction of what I think the trail ruins looked like when they were around, when they were actually in place. And then I have this, which is what the trail ruins would actually look like if this were the real world. So something like this. The road doesn't actually have those holes. They're supposed to be stone there. No, actually, they do have those holes. It's gravel that's there. So that's kind of interesting. But they're evenly spaced, which is really cool. So yeah. And then there was some cavities also in the gravel as well, which is a telltale sign for organics. So all of these birch logs you see here are the cavities of where those cavities were. And so I put the birch logs in, and that's actually how I constructed the walkway there. Anyways, if you come down to the end here, you get to a dock, and from this dock you have a choice. You can either go back to the beginning of the museum, or you can come all the way down here, where you can either branch off this little branch off this way, which takes you to the Stronghold Museum, and then this branch off this way takes you to the Ancient City. And the Ancient City is a full reconstruction of the Ancient City based on the stuff that's found there and some other things, which is not something that we would normally do in real life. We wouldn't reconstruct stuff. It's generally frowned upon to reconstruct things. But it does sometimes happen. Oop, getting a little bit of lag there. So anyways, let's head on over to the spot that we're gonna be working on. I think that's the same bee that's been like hanging out in this area ever since World Spawn. Okay, so today we are also going to do another little bit of a no-no and reconstruct this portal here. And then from there, we're also going to move on to a secondary project, which is over here. I marked it with some amethyst, which is these underwater ruins. Now, full disclosure, I am not an underwater archaeologist. I do not do underwater archaeology. There are very specific rules in place for underwater archaeology, which we are going to just completely ignore. Because in this case, because this is a video game, we're gonna fudge those rules a bit to make this section here with the underwater ruins accessible and explorable. and go that route. But I do want to stress that I am not an underwater archaeologist. Excuse me. So yeah, so that's what we got going on there. Also, you might have noticed we've got this shipwreck over here, and I've gone and checked that out. The shipwreck is actually above the water, so maybe someday we will go do that as well. What I would like to have happen with this world is eventually for this thing to be a fully explorable world with all of these cool things in it for you to check out and see. And of course, you know, milk it for views. So there's always that. But anyways, let's go ahead and look at this for a bit. Now, I am in creative mode. So I can, you know, whoops, I can do this without dying. But in the real world, we probably wouldn't have lava, you know, sticking up like this. So we're actually going to replace the lava, probably with the netherrack here. And same thing for the magma. We're going to replace that with netherrack as well. Quickly looking at my chat. How long have you been playing Minecraft for? Oh man. I started playing Minecraft about 9 months after my first Minecraft video. To see if it was viable for this kind of thing to teach. So that's basically the long and short of it. But, spoiler, it is viable for this kind of teaching. And you can make money off of it too, which is kind of nice. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You're probably wondering why I'm not doing it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is because when things fall, there's this physics takes over, obviously. And the things at the top, if they fall this way, they speed up faster than the things down here. If they are attached to some of these parts, they can pull these parts with it. So you might get gaps. Now, normally you get gaps the farther out you go. But if this is all one solid piece, as it starts to tip and hit the solid ground here, it might hit and slide out a bit, pulling away from these. So that's why we're actually just counting all of these pieces of obsidian as part of the, well, part of the portal. So that was 1, 2, 3. So that's 1, 1, 2, 3. So it's 1, 2, 3 across. And then, whoops, 1, 2, 3. And of course, you'll notice that there's a gap there because of this, or maybe not. Anyways, it doesn't really matter, because we are going to just reconstruct it fully. Let's also get rid of that. I'm going to assume the crying obsidian is degraded obsidian, or obsidian with some sort of occlusion in it that has changed over time. Whatever. It's originally obsidian. So let's go ahead and wouldn't obsidian or wouldn't lava be replaced with obsidian or basalt? Yeah, probably. But to sort of keep with the theme here, we're just going to do netherrack. And I really wish we could put panes, like glass panes, down flat on magma. That way you could still see the magma without it like burning you, but we can't. Closest we could do is something like this. And then go wha-bam. And do that. Just out of curiosity, do you take damage? Yeah, you do. So, you know, sucks, but it is what it is. Visitor safety is our #1 priority. So we're going to do that. That, whoops. we're just going to replace all of this, even though it does look really cool and it's all like textured, which is not something that the Minecraft devs normally do. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to copy this. 2, 3. We're going to replace that and that. And again, like I said, normally something like this would not happen. They would leave it in place, or if they do any kind of reconstruction, they wouldn't replace things so much, or if they do, the things that they replace would end up in the repository. So yeah. All right, so there we have it. And you know what? Because we are, you know, in the mood, let's just go ahead and do that so that it is fully active. Ta-da! There we are. Let's now get... Oh, this was off to the side. Interesting. I wonder if that was something like that. Or was it something like this? Looks dumb. So we'll just do that. And we'll copy that on this side. So there we go. Alright, so there you are. Alright. We don't know why the lava was there. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, for the conduit. Yeah, we might just do that. We'll see how it goes. And you can use Frostwalker boots. Yeah, we could do that. But I think we'll just leave it as is, and we'll leave this netherrack sort of built up like that too. So there we go. Easy peasy. Oh, let's replace that. And actually, let's replace that netherrack with that. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So step 1 is done. Now let's talk a little bit about these underwater ruins for a second here. So these underwater ruins, there's quite a bit, actually. So let's go ahead and do. We are going to do the effect, so the conduit effect. Conduit power, infinite, 0. True. There we go. There we are. Now that it's adjusted. All right. So my plan is to basically come in here, remove all of this grass, and then use. Oh, we got some caves down here. Remove all this grass, build up some walls, probably using World Edit, and then delete all the water. In the real world, you would not come to some ruins like this and take all the water away. You wouldn't sandbag anything like this to expose the ruins, especially like in the ocean. For a couple of reasons. Well, one, you might cause damage, just first and foremost, by doing that. We don't know how much the ruins are sort of staying in place because of the water. But the big thing is, and this is the main one, is the salt. The salt actually permeates into stuff like this and will basically fill in gaps and stuff, but but since the salt is in the water, it's not really doing anything. It's not crystallized, right? It's still sort of small. The actual salt particles are small. When you start to dry things out like this that have salt water in them, the salt in there crystallizes and it grows, which causes this thing called spalling. And spalling actually breaks off pieces of whatever the material is. And if it's been in the water long enough and is fully permeated with salt water, that spalling will eventually completely destroy whatever the material is. I mean, we're talking like break it down into tiny little bits, basically pulverize or break off sheets of the material. And if you want to see something like this in real life around your home, there is, especially like in Arizona where the water is really hard. It's got a lot of calcium in it, because calcium does the same thing as salt. Look at old ceramic flower pots. Over time, they spall. They break off little pieces, and so you gotta basically, watch out for stuff like that. Let me think what the best way about doing this is. I think I should just find the farthest extent of these ruins. So let's grab this. And I'm using amethyst because amethyst is completely it's not native to this structure. So let's do this. So it's a lot easier to tell what I've added. And then let's go over here to this corner. Okay, so this is the farthest corner here. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Let's add this. Here you rebuilt the portal in the way that you did because you know how portals generally are built in game. Is there in real life similar cases? Yes. In fact, the real life similar cases are from Greece. So the Greeks did this really awesome thing where they built things very similarly. So they built things the same way every time. Or they at least followed a formula. I think that's the extent of that corner there. And so with that being said, so for example, I'll use a really good example. Pottery, there are certain types of pottery that they used a very specific formula for. So you can find, if you found like the, I don't know, base of a kylix, you could rebuild the entire kylix just off of the base because of how they construct things, how they build things, because they follow that formula. Temples are the same way. If you have, let's say, a column base from a temple, you know how many columns there were anywhere on the side or on the front, because they followed basically a mathematical formula. You can rebuild the temple almost exactly. The only thing you can't really do is like figure out decoration. So I mean, there's that. But yeah, so yes, you can actually. There are real world type scenarios where stuff like that actually happens. Oh, I even got this wrong. It's actually over by 1. So it needs to be here. Let me just I'm just getting the extent of this in place so we can see from the air. what it looks like. How big of an area we got to do. Not bad so far. B, what are you doing? Why are you way out here, dude? There's nothing out here for you. Tell your buddies. They're all over there. You guys are going to die. All right, whatever. Don't listen to me. Okay, so then this... Okay, let's see if this is... See, I was even wrong on that. It's actually right there. All right. Is this as far over? No, it's not. This one. Let's do that. Now, I will say this with that whole like following a formula thing, not every civilization does stuff like that. There are civilizations that have enough variability in stuff that they make that is nearly impossible to do. But there are some cases where you can sort of get away with that because, you know, you recognize that, let's just say, you know, some building has some sort of purpose or has some things in it. And so you can say, oh, well, because this thing has these things in it, this is this kind of building, and you can have a basic idea. You can't really build it exactly. Okay, so that's not so bad. Look at that. That's not bad at all. That's pretty interesting. I mean, it's a decent size. I'm thinking, tell me what you guys think of this. So basically what I want to do, I mean, I say tell me what you think of this, but I pretty much already have it in my mind that this is kind of what we're going to do. My idea is, because you're going to be coming up this river, right? Because this is the river you take and you go around that little corner there, and the entrance to the Stronghold Museum is around that little peninsula there. That little peninsula that sticks out, you go around it, and then the entrance to the Stronghold Museum is somewhere back in there. So I'm thinking, as you come this way, you have the option to stop at this reconstructed nether portal. And while I'm thinking about it, because I will forget to do this, and this is a really good reminder for me to actually do this. Wait, redstone block, I think. Yep, there we go. And the other one is book. There we go. I need to put that there, that there. Okay. That way I know, hey, dingus, don't forget to put some sort of interpretive sign here so people know what this is all about. I mean, people know what this is all about anyways, but and this of course is going to be the thing that is definitely not anything like real life, because we don't deal with stuff like this, portals that take you to other dimensions, obviously. If we did, I would be very rich. So because I have no problem abusing that mode of transportation. Okay, so you take the boat, you land here at the portal, and you can either go on a bridge across from this netherrack to here, or take the boat around to a dock. But let's say you take the bridge over. You come up here, come up these steps, and I want to flatten this whole section out here to make some sort of interpretive thing for the underwater, that underwater ruins. But here's the part that I'm like sort of wondering about, and I think it sounds cool in my mind. I think we should make some sort of stairwell that comes down, or maybe even a vertical stair, like spiral staircase that comes down, with a glass tube that you walk through. Let our eyes adjust for a second. that comes this way and walks in between these buildings. So you can look this way and see, and look this way and see these, and maybe it comes around this way. And then there's little interpretive signs in the walkway. And it makes like a little circle and then comes back to the starting point. And then you can walk back, go up the spiral staircase or up these stairs, whatever you want to do. And then you can go back and get on your boat and leave. Or I put like a dock here to come around. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking about doing for this. And I think it sounds pretty cool. All right, so let's check the chat here. Have you thought about doing a video where you go find similar structures and compare them to the ones you have already done? I suppose so. That'd be kind of cool. You know, go to another ancient city or whatever. Yeah, that would be interesting. Like how there are sites where there is more info based on levels of preservation in the area. Yeah. Could even do it in Creative Flat World, like with the ruining you did for the Dead World data pack. Yeah. I could. Where we just sort of generate the different buildings. The only thing is that when it comes to the ancient city, well, I'm thinking here. Yeah, when it comes to the ancient city, I've already done all of the buildings. So, I mean, to compare, I would just be comparing with you know, what I've already done, and I've already done all of it. So I don't know. Let's do this. Let's come over here. Let's do that. Okay. We want to replace kelp plant. Let's just replace it with water. Did that get all of them? No. Seagrass, that's the other one. Okay, so we need to do seagrass as well. Okay, so you just go that up. So kelp plant, nope. Now we're going to do seagrass. I suppose I could do that with the trail ruins because I didn't do all of the buildings in the trail ruins. Oh, okay. Now all the seagrass is gone. But what is this? That is also seagrass. It did not replace. Oh. Okay, what about this? What if I do down here? Because of that, that might actually be lower than the other. Oh, no, that doesn't look that much lower. Is there a different type of seagrass? Tall seagrass? Ah. Thank you, Richard. There we go. There we go. Now that's all cleared out. So, this would be sort of the standard for doing archaeology like this on land, right? So on land, you come in and the first thing you do is you defoliate, or you take out all the vegetation on archaeological sites. So okay, so what I'm gonna do, oh boy, let's see if this works. All right, we want to replace it with glass. Everyone does glass, and I'm eventually going to use glass, so maybe it's a good idea to do it out of glass to see how easy it is to look through. So we're just going to go ahead and try glass. Let's see what it's like. Oh. Why did I use the budding one? That was dumb. I don't know why I used the budding one. That really was kind of dumb. Okay. Easy enough to replace, though. What is that? Budding amethyst with just amethyst. There. Oh, and they don't pop off. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let's go to this one. Well, first we're going to do that. Okay. So, then we're going to do water with glass. Leave it to me to really, like, do something stupid like that. I probably did it because I thought, oh, it'd be cool if while I'm talking about this thing would, you know, bud above the water. Which, I mean, to be fair, that is pretty cool. But but not helpful. Not helpful. Okay. And now we do I think that. Replace budding amethyst with block. Replace water with glass. Oops. Okay. All right. So now we do the thing that's going to look absolutely insane, which is we're going to delete all of the water and see how it looks. Oh, I guess we'll go down this far. All right, here we go. Replace water with air. Interesting. Hmm. Well. Whoops. Was I off by one? Well, am I still off? I'm still off by one. Ah. It's so it's over the magma block. Interesting. So does this mean that they consider the water above magma blocks to be a different block altogether? Like bubbling water? Oh. I mean, this is fine. This is fine. Ooh, I also need to go down a bit. Okay. Yeah, because there's this lower portion here. We also might fix that so that everything is level. Ooh, but I see... Nope. This is definitely supposed to be a hill. Alright, why are we still... Oh, because the chest is waterlogged. Well, I don't... Okay, well, I don't want to take away that chest. We're going to take away that chest later when we figure out what's inside these things. I just want to fix this water issue. You done? You done moving around? Okay. Is that everything? Okay. Let's go ahead and get down a little bit farther. So I think what I'll do for that is go on the outside here. Also take care of that. And these, because I thought it was going to look cool. Ah, here's another issue. Okay. Why don't we do this? Why don't we just go with the nuclear option? I've done this to myself. I've done this to myself. Okay. Nuclear option says that replace water with air. What do we got here? Ah, another chest. Okay, that's fine. I didn't think waterlogged chests were going to be an issue. But apparently they are. Okay. How are we doing? We doing all right? We are now. Okay, I believe everything is dry now. Everything is dry? Everything is dry. Okay. Good. Good, good, good. Let's go ahead and break all of this. And because we, again, we want people to be safe, we are going to replace all of this, these magma blocks. I guess I could have just done that at the beginning and wouldn't have had to do any of this stuff. Oh well. Oh, wait. Ooh. Well, that was dumb. Now that I think about it, I probably shouldn't have done that. Oh, or sponges. Well, let's try a sponge. Yeah, the magma is going to give off a bit of light, so I think I'm going to leave the magma here. I don't know where those other two were that I just covered up. It was over here somewhere. It was right here, I think. Oof. Yeah, I'm going to have to bring them back. Okay, what's going on here? Ah. Oh, look at that. Comments for the win. Excellent. Sponges are the way to go. Ooh, look at that. Terracotta? Glazed terracotta? That's nice. Okay. Yeah, we'll just take care of the water as we come across it. As for the magma that I totally just replaced without even thinking, I believe it was like, I don't know, here. Close enough. And the other one was somewhere over here, I think. No, those. Okay. It was over here somewhere. Well, I don't know. But this is where the walkway is going to come through anyway. So, okay. So here we have it. We have our site. I mean, to be fair, the budding amethyst does look pretty cool, sticking up out of the ground. So, again, we are not going to be... we are not going to be restoring these. We are just going to be excavating them and exposing them. So let's go ahead and get all this out of here. I'm going to leave the wooden axe because it's part of World Edit. And I'm going to swap over to... actually, go ahead and... Nope. Does scaffolding get destroyed by water? I feel like it does, because I don't think I can use scaffolding in this case. So maybe I pedestal it another way, like with gravel. Maybe. Anyways. Oh. Need that sponge, man. Okay. Okay. So, yeah. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get some shovels. We're going to use stone shovels. Otherwise, we run the risk of breaking stuff. I think that should be enough. I don't think we're going to be doing that much digging. So let's go ahead and grab a... Actually, let's grab a barrel so that we don't get it confused with the chests that are already here. Let's put the shovel... Oh, I ended up with kelp in my inventory. Let's also grab a brush. Though it should be a trowel. Oh, you know what? Someone from my Discord actually made a texture pack that changes that brush into a trowel. I should have downloaded that before I did this, so that it would at least be a trowel. Oh well. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. Maybe use fences. I was thinking about fences. You know, I might just do fences. But I think for some things like this which is what I just did the pedestal. I don't know. Let's see what it looks like first. We're gonna use we're gonna use birch so that it stands out. We'll see. Mangrove roots can be scaffolding. That's true, and you can waterlog them too, which is real nice. Let's see what that looks like. I love mangrove roots, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed, but like I use mangrove roots for fuel. I use mangrove roots for waterlogging the water block and farms because you can just walk on it. Dude, I love using mangrove roots. Ooh, that looks pretty good. Okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. Dingy fried. We're gonna use the mangrove roots. That looks great. Good call on that. So we're gonna put that in there because it's scaffolding. We are gonna actually do more than just the one. We're gonna grab two. Yeah, we'll grab 3 brushes. I don't think we're gonna go through 3 brushes, but you never know. And I don't think we're gonna need. Something tells me we're not gonna need a pickaxe. You know what we will need though? Lunch. We're definitely gonna need lunch. Okay, so if you're ready, I'm ready. We can get into it. What we are going to do is we are going to excavate this. Now, most of these are already exposed, which is also kind of why I chose this as part of the stream thing, because it's going to go by pretty quick, and I don't want to be here for like 7 hours doing this. So, if we are ready, which I think we are, let's go ahead and swap over into survival mode so that we don't over dig. Let's grab a single shovel, a single brush. Let's grab, let's just grab half of the mangrove. Let's also put half of our bread away. And then just go for, I'm already hungry. How am I already hungry? Okay, well that's true to life. So, all right. Oh, you know what we did forget? Aha. I'm already getting all screwed up here. We need a datum, and we need to sort of cordon this off. So the datum is going to actually go on a whole number. So let's go, well, we want to do it from land. So let's put the datum on land. 1700, negative 1700. Sounds good to me. And 1300 also sounds good to me. Get out of my way. 1300. Oh, going the wrong way. Oh, well, I can't go 1300 because that puts me in the water. Or I can cheat. We probably won't do a, we probably won't do a grid now that I think about it, because it's just going to get destroyed. So there's our datum. Our datum is at 1300, negative 1700. Everything is going to be based off of this datum. Granted, I'm only going to use the coordinates anyway. I'm just going to use coordinates anyways for this. And did I put that at a whole number up? I bet I didn't. I bet it's at 62 because we're at ocean level. Yep, we are at ocean level. That's fine. Normally we wouldn't do that. Normally it'd just be whole numbers, but it's fine. Okay. So everything that we go to excavate, that we find, we are going to label as its coordinates. I'm off a block. I'm not off the block. Targeted block, which is on the right-hand side, not the left. Don't look at the left. The right-hand side, targeted block, says 1300, negative 1700. So we're good. We're good there. I know, I used to look at the left-hand side, and it screwed me up so many times, because the left-hand side doesn't tell you what you're looking at. It tells you where you're standing, which I think is kind of garbage. But it kind of makes sense, too. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off in one corner and work our way that way. So first things first, let's go ahead and start here. What we are looking for is we are looking for the extent downwards of this building. So it looks like this wall came down and looks like it ended probably there. Yeah, so we want to get rid of this, make sure it's not the, it is not the suspicious gravel, so that's good. Yeah, so it looks like the floor is probably down here below these guys. Okay, not suspicious, not suspicious, not suspicious, not suspicious. So either this chest was hidden in the floor, or the floor is underneath these blocks. So when you think you get down to the proper bottom layer, in a dig, in a room or whatever, any good archaeologist would dig below what they think is the floor. And you do that to see if you have missed anything, or if maybe it continues. So it doesn't look like it continues. That's stone, but I think that's naturally generating stone. Yeah, so it looks like this is fine. So we should clear this building, because it looks like this is the floor level. Actually, we shouldn't clear around the building, because this would be the ground level as well. So let's just go ahead and fill in this to sort of stabilize it. We'll do that there, that there. Oh. Okay. Let's give ourselves some extra gravel, shall we? Wait, why do I have stone in my inventory? Yeah. So we'll just fill this in a bit. You're not going to walk into these buildings anyways. Okay. Do we have any suspicious gravel around here? Doesn't look like it. I did not see a single suspicious gravel. How's my sounds, though? Music and sounds. I didn't hear any of it break. Of course, my sounds were turned way down. I don't see any suspicious gravel. Nope, don't see any. Okay. So for the chest, it's buried. Okay. Let's see. Hmm. Hold on, I still can't hear. for some reason. Blocks. Let's turn it way up. That? Yeah, that right there. I see what you're talking about. Okay. What do we got? Emerald. Okay. Emerald is 1302.50 negative 1758. Let me grab a little notebook here, because I forgot to grab one in the beginning. Now where's a pen? Here's a pen. Okay. Okay. All right. So we have emerald at 1302.50 negative 1758. And while I'm at it, let's go ahead and label these buildings as well. So let's get out of here. No, you're good. You're good on that. Thank you for catching that. Otherwise, I would have totally missed it. Okay, so we're going to go... Let's go clockwise. Starting... Well, we're going to go with... Ooh, okay, so we've got, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we actually have 8, but this one is sort of like 2. So let's grab some banners in different colors. So we want drastically different colors. That's the thing. You don't want things that are close together. So we're going to take yellow. We're going to get rid of this gravel and this gravel because we're just going to put it back. We want yellow, red, black, blue. Okay. So blue, black, yellow, red. Okay. I'll also map this too. So we'll get to that here in a second. Okay, so now we want something like orange, brown, white, and green. And you don't want them to be next to each other, though red and yellow being next to each other is going to bother me, but that's okay. Brown. And then orange. Whoops, that's brown. Orange. You're going to have orange 1 and orange 2. Okay. And I want to hide this. There we go. Because this, remember, this is the map is being taken from above. So let's grab a map. So I forgot to map this. Look at me being all rusty. It's been a while. Perfect. There we go. Okay. So we have this mapped. We need to lock this down. So let's grab a functional block. We're going to grab the cartography table and get that empty map out of here. We also need a glass pane so that we can lock it down. So bring the map here, bring the pane, done. There we are. Easy peasy. Locked. That one's not. Okay. Perfect. I also need an anvil, because again, we're going to label all of our artifacts here. All right, and this one is, whoops, what building is that? That is the, is that green? Green, okay. So this is green 130250-1758. Bam. Oh. Green 130250-1758. So you can see how this is labeled. You have the building, which is green, 1302, which is the x-axis, 50, which is the y-axis, and negative 1758, which is the z-axis. So there we go. And we are going to put that in here, which is probably going to get filled up pretty fast. So let's do this instead. So all of the artifacts are going in there. All the tools go in here. So let's get rid of this and go back to survival mode. Okay. I don't see any other, but let's go ahead and be thorough. I also still can't hear any of the blocks breaking. All right. I don't see any more suspicious gravel. So this one is done. Green is done with the excavation. Now, how we're going to do the chests is going to be similar, but it's going to be oh, master volume's at 100, so I don't know why I can't hear it. Who knows? So for chests, we're gonna label it the same way. We're gonna label it as green chest, and then the not the coordinates, but the order in which it is in the chest. Well, here I'll show you. So we're looking at the chest, right? So this is going to be green chest, and this one's going to be labeled 1. This one's going to be labeled 5, 7, 8, 10, 13, 16, 17, and so on. Okay? Are you wearing headphones? Mine sometimes only give half the sounds if they ain't hooked up all right. Yeah, I don't know. I am wearing headphones. Otherwise, you'd hear the music coming through the microphone. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it because I can hear the music in the headphones. So that's how we're going to do this. And the best way I found to do this, we're going to get into creative mode here. We're going to go into, excuse me, creative mode. Thank you. We're going to go into survival inventory. We're going to get rid of that. And this map, because we already have the real map. And because this inventory sort of matches the chest, I'm going to put them in order in this inventory the way they are in the chest. So That's how it's going to work. So when I'm here, it's going to go like that, that. So you see how I'm doing this is I'm keeping this exactly like how it was in the chest. So as I label things, it's going to give me the numbers, and I can put it in the barrel then at that point, and everything will be fine. So let's go over to the anvil. First things first, this is going to be, actually we'll do GRN CHST, and this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So GRN CHST 0, 5. And it doesn't need to go in crazy order. It doesn't need to be put then back in the same way it goes. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is where that one came from. 6, 7. So these are 2, but it's going to be the same thing. GRN CHST 0, 7. 8. Actually, let's copy that so it's a lot easier to work, a lot quicker. 08, 9, and this is 10. 11, 12, 13. So this is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. $17. 18, so 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Done. So then I come over to the artifact chest and I just go, whoops, wrong button. There we go. We know exactly where they came from. And we're going to leave that chest there because we don't need to take it out. These buildings aren't going to be explorable, so it can stay. So green is done. So what we should do now is just put some of the gravel back in to stabilize this building. And though I like the mangrove roots, I mean, I really love the mangrove roots idea. I think we're just gonna keep at the gravel. And I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna give it one layer of gravel all the way around. There we go. And that's it. That's totally it. So, easy peasy. So for something like this, I mean, I do love the mangrove roots, but we might just throw gravel underneath there. So let's move on to red. And I do agree, we will definitely need more barrels. We'll probably need a couple more. But, you know, it is what it is. And what I'll probably actually, you know what I should do instead? This is what I should do instead. I should actually grab one of these instead, because that way I can just pick up the whole thing without worrying too much about it. Without taking everything out and transferring. Nothing else here is labeled, right? Okay, there we go. So we'll just do that. And the nice thing is that's different than the chest, so I won't get confused and accidentally put something in here when it should go into the shulker. Well, can it generate under the chests? Don't know. That one's got wood underneath it. I didn't see. That is not. Good question, though. Excellent question. And that is definitely something that should be asked. All right, so let's move on to red. There's suspicious gravel right there and right there. Let's get back into survival mode so we can not over dig. So we'll take out this. We'll take out this one. That's also suspicious gravel right there. Interesting that it's underneath the wall. And what would be underneath the floor, too. So that might have been an actual hidden little cache of something. Color the shulkers match the building color. I don't need to do that. It's fine. Because the items are labeled. It's because we're not going to be actually putting these in like order in the well, you'll see. We don't need to do that. Normally I'd say yeah, that's probably a good idea. Okay. Okay, so there's stone, so that's kind of like the bedrock in the ocean. Not suspicious. Not suspicious. That is suspicious. Not suspicious. Not suspicious. Not. That is also suspicious right there. That is not. That is not. Okay. Well, there's going to be a lot of suspicious stuff. Okay, so let's start here. Let's see what we get. Another emerald. Okay, what block is this? This is 1304 50 negative 1769. Oops. I always hit escape to get out of the F3 menu. I wish that was the option. Emerald. This is red. Okay. Building red. 1304 50-1769. Bam. Easy peasy. I don't think... Oh, why did I go all the way around? Wait. I totally turned around and went the wrong way. Okay, let's get rid of that. Okay. Gold nugget. Interesting. Okay. Gold nugget. And this is 1305 50 negative 1770. Keep doing that. Red 1305 50 negative 1770. Yeah, I have zero sounds from this game coming through my headphones for some reason. I'm in creative mode. Okay. So that wooden hoe. 1306, 50, 1771. And we'll do this as long as we can. And then at a certain point, I'm going to say screw it and just be done, even if we aren't actually. Oh, see, I almost did it again. I almost did it again. What was going to go all the way around? Let's get this one. Another golden nugget. Interesting. That one's 1302, 50, negative 1771. All right, here we go. Just keep doing this. I'm sure people have questions, though. Lots of good questions. Archaeology, anything like that, we'll gladly answer. This one. Explorer pottery sherd. Okay. 1302, 50, negative 1772. $13.04, 50, negative 1774. Another gold nugget. Interesting. Oop. Almost skipped a step. Okay, what do we got? Is there anything outside the glass? Ah. So, funny thing about that, if there is, we are not going to do anything about it. Because the pathway that I'm going to make is going to come inside and around this sort of central building. So anything beyond the glass is, though it is important to this I don't know, this little settlement here, because it is not going to be disturbed, we're actually going to leave it. And archaeologists do this all the time. We leave things beyond the boundaries, basically, untouched. And actually, in fact, some archaeologists will also leave parts of a archaeological site completely untouched as well. And that is because we don't know what kind of things in the future we're going to want to know about a site, and we don't know what kind of technology we're going to have in the future either. So, I mean, I'm sure if people knew back in the day what kind of technology we have nowadays, they would be very hesitant to do some of the excavations they do, or they would sort of do the same thing and leave parts unexcavated. So a lot of archaeologists will leave things unexcavated so that we can learn more about the civilization that we're studying in the future. Sort of future-proofing things. So yeah, so in this case, we're actually not going to touch anything outside the boundary. One, because we don't need to, and it can just stay there. And two, so that you know, it can stay for future archaeologists. Even though, I mean, let's face it, I'm the one doing this, so yeah. Anyways, let's continue on. So that's an answer to your question. Also, I'm lazy. Oh. 1306 50 negative 1773. Keep doing escape. Wait. Okay. For a second there, I thought it said stop recording. I was going to say, oh my god, I've been recording this whole time. Creative mode. Whoops. $13,650 negative 1770. There we go. Okay, let's throw that in there. Ooh, getting close to filling that up. Let's go ahead and do survival mode. I can't tell. I can't see. I got some glare coming in. Okay, no. Got some glare coming in through my window, and it's wreaking havoc on one, my blue light blocking glasses that I wear now because I've been on the computer an awful lot lately, and I get these crazy headaches if I'm on it for too long. Oh, there we go. Actually, I think that's all of it. So let's go ahead and put some gravel back. So if this were real life and I were to remove this wood from this setting, that wood would just completely disintegrate because the salts would crystallize as it dried out and start basically tearing apart that wood. And so what they do to keep that from happening is something pretty awesome, actually. They will plasticize it. So they do a couple other. You could do a couple different things to work it out. Okay, so for here, I think we're going to use the mangrove roots. So you could either plasticize it, where you replace the salts with plastics, basically, so it preserves it, or you can put the saltwater infused object into more salt water and slowly decrease the the salinity, the amount of salt in the water. And what it does is it pulls the salt out of the object, but of course the object is that salt that's being pulled out is still in the sort of the liquid form, and it slowly replaces it with fresh water. So there's that too, which I've heard is a cool way to do it. I like the plasticizing thing. I think that's really neat because it also preserves it. It probably also damages it in some way, shape, or form, but we don't know that yet. In 100 years, people are going to be shocked that we actually did that. Okay, so first things first. Let's check my inventory. Okay, I don't need the shulker box. That's okay. That's fine. So let's see what we got. Okay. So we got a lot of wheat still. This would be very salty wheat. Another buried treasure map. Okay. So this is going to be, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So, oops. Red chest. I'm gonna copy that. And then 0, 4. 5, 6. So this is red chest 6. Red chest 8. Red chest 9. This will be red chest 10. So 10, this is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 26. Okay, yeah, this is looking pretty good. So yeah, I like the idea of the mangrove as sort of supports, because this is going to be sort of ground level for this thing. And I might actually fill in some of these, but we'll see. Okay, so red is done, I believe. Yeah, red is done. Perfect. So let's check out, what is this one? Yellow? Yeah, yellow. Yellow is interesting because its doorway is facing sort of away from everything. There's suspicious gravel. All right, so let's go ahead and clear this out. Are the glasses helping? The internet has mixed feedback. I don't know. I don't know if it's helping, like actually helping, or if it's sort of more of a reminder to stay hydrated as well. Because I think that's also part of the problem. Because I have a hard time staying hydrated lately. Because I'll get fixated on things, especially when I'm working on Mitru. Oh wow, look at all that! Wow, look at all that. When I'm working on the Mitru project, I get really fixated on it because, well, it's my thesis and it's fun to work on, and I'll sometimes forget to hydrate. So there's suspicious. There's suspicious. A lot of suspicious gravel. I think the blue light glasses, I mean, they tend to help me. I don't know how well they would help someone else. I'm sure there is mixed feedback because some people, you know, just can't be helped. So, you know, it's just the way of the world. Okay, so that's not suspicious gravel. That's not. That's not. That's not. Neither is that. Okay. That is not. But yeah, I think it is. I think they help out a lot, because it's my body just defaults to headache if anything's wrong. You know, oh, you took too long to eat lunch? Yeah, you got a headache now. Oh, is the sun just slightly higher in the sky than it was yesterday? Yeah, okay. Headache. It's frustrating, but that's what happens. Okay, so I think we are at a spot here where we can actually do this whole sus gravel thing. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, wooden hoe is okay. What else we got in the chat? Oh, it looks like, whoops, I missed some actually beforehand. Sound might be the audio device setting. Oh, could be that. Could absolutely be that. Troy comes to mind with old excavations that would have gone a lot differently. Yes, and I have some very, very specific thoughts on Schliemann, and probably not the way you would think. I think the Schliemann destroying stuff. Oh, jeez. Get back into, there we go. I think Schliemann destroying stuff is totally 100% on archaeologists and not him. Because he didn't know any better, and he actually, believe it or not, asked for help from archaeologists, and they laughed at him. So he was... See, this is the thing that they don't talk about when they talk about Schliemann and the stuff that he did. So of course he went off on his own and decided to excavate destructively. This man was, I mean, he was determined to prove archaeologists wrong. So really, mourner, okay, with what looks like the warden on it. Oh, almost forgot. And so, yeah, so it's kind of on archaeologists to, because we just, instead of helping him out and actually showing up at his dig site and helping him discover Troy, they told him Troy doesn't exist and to F off. And he basically was like, well, I'll show them. And he did. And I also think that is also why he gets a lot of a bad rap, because he proved archaeologists wrong. And of course, these are the archaeologists at the time that are teaching. And of course, they just focus on the bad stuff he did and disparage his name. I do have 2 of his books, and he he definitely he definitely has some ideas that are completely wrong. But for the time, they weren't wrong. Coal? Okay. So yeah, so it's I think he gets a bad rap from salty archaeologists back in the day because he proved them wrong, and he did it in a destructive way. Also, they like to really focus on the fact that he used dynamite. And here's another thing that they don't tell you. We were using dynamite until the 70s, folks, for archaeology. So that's not really an excuse either. And we use very destructive techniques anyways. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how he gets a bad rap, but then Evans doesn't. Evans, who, if you don't know who Arthur Evans was, he excavated Knossos on Crete. he actually told his workers when they were excavating and finding parts of not mosaics, frescoes, to just put them back on the wall to make them look good. In fact, two of his guys that were working for him actually got busted for making counterfeit artifacts and selling them. So, yeah. He also used a lot of cement, which is really bad. Of course, that was sort of common practice back then, is to use cement, a lot of cement. And we have since learned that using cement is really bad for archaeological sites because the cement oftentimes reacts pretty badly with certain stuff like sandstone, for example. Oh man, cement and sandstone do not mix at all. Cement actually actively destroys sandstone, and so a lot of the American Southwest archaeological sites, specifically the NPS, the National Park Service sites, you'll see workers out there replacing a lot of the cement with better stuff, stuff that actually does better for the actual site. So yeah, so those are my not so not so common thoughts on Schliemann. All right, so what do we got? What do we got? Video on the water thing on paper found in an old shipwreck. It was 20 years ago though. 30% recovery rate. Yeah, I'm sure it's much better now, because there's been a lot of technological advances since then, with shipwrecks and underwater archaeology. In fact, my advisor is an underwater archaeologist, even though I can't do underwater archaeology. Okay. $12.98, 51, negative 17.85. Whoops. Nope. That one's full. So there's 2 shulker boxes filled up, 2.5. So that would be another half. 1, 2. So that's 2. And then 1. We might be able to get away with 3. We might be able to get away with 3. What else we got? What else? Sounds like you need to carry your 2-quart can. Yeah. So interesting thing about my hydration issues. I don't know if you know this, but for those of you who suffer from kidney stones, I know you guys know how horrific those are. Whoops, I did not get the numbers off of that. Funny thing is, your saliva glands can make stones too, just like kidney stones. And I had a stone growing in my saliva gland, which is pretty freaking crazy. And it got like lodged in there, and was causing issues and becoming infected and all that stuff. And I actually had to have my saliva gland removed from that side of my face. So it's nice because I no longer have to deal with that weird bit of biology. But it kind of sucks because as I talk, I become more and more dehydrated because I'm only getting about, well, because my saliva glands have to work twice as hard to keep my mouth moist. So kind of crazy, right? Yeah, really wild stuff. Let's see. Here in Greece, we talk about Schliemann positively. Oh, really? At least in secondary educator? That's interesting. I assume in universities they have a different opinion. Yeah, probably. Well, I mean, Schliemann also did Tyrans and Mycenae as well. And so yeah, there's a lot of really wild stuff. Wow, there's a lot of precious stones and metals in these. I'm noticing lots of gold nuggets, lots of emeralds. So that's very interesting. And buried treasure maps too. So lots of... I don't know when these were put into the game, but it seems like that's something interesting that should be noted. Yellow 1298 51 negative 1782. Okay. Now I see sand here. And the glare coming in my window, I can't really tell. So let's hit this. Nope. Let's hit this one. Not that I can tell. Okay. Okay, nothing there. Okay. All right, so that looks like that is done. Do we have a chest? We do have a chest. How's my inventory looking? Let's go ahead and get back into creative mode. Inventory's looking good. Okay, let's open the chest and see what we can find. Oh, that was a very weak chest. Okay. Whoa, where am I going? See, I keep trying to put that stuff away before we're... Okay, so this is number 2. So this is going to be Y chest, because there's no other letter or no other color that starts with Y. Chest 02. 3, 4, 5, 6. This is going to be Y chest 6. And this is 17. Bam! Just like that. And just like that, this one's done. So let's go ahead and fill this in. Okay, looking pretty good. So we'll just go, again, we'll do one more around the outside, and then we'll fill in this little weird gap. Actually, we can fill in this weird gap now. So we'll do this. There we go. Now that one's done. So these 3 are now done. So now we got 2 more over here and 2 more over here. How are we doing on time? We've been doing this for right at about 2 hours. So yeah. Okay, what else we got? Since we're talking about underwater archaeology in the American Southwest, has anything been done for the preservation of the B-29 in Lake Mead? If you know, I don't know. No, I don't know anything about that. B-29 in Lake Mead. I didn't even know that there was a B-29 in Lake Mead. No, what'll probably end up happening is, I don't know, 100 years from now, some random courier in the American Southwest is going to help some group of weirdos living on an old military installation, calling themselves boomers, you know, excavate it and put it back in the sky to defeat, I don't know, Caesar's legions or something. Okay, let's see here. What else we got? If it could be supposed that the underwater ruins were once on the coast and saw lots of trade, and that's why they have so many maps and precious stones. Probably, yeah. That is actually a solid idea. So for this one, we need to figure out where one building ends and the other begins. And I am willing to bet that along this split right here between these two blocks, so this line, everything this way of this block and this way is going to be part of what is this? Blue? Yeah, blue. And everything this way of this line of blocks is going to be part of black. So that's how we're going to do that. So let's go ahead and excavate black first. Oh, actually, while I'm thinking about it, let's go grab another shovel because we're going to need it. Because this one's about to break. Okay. Yep. So do that. Do that. So suspicious right there. This one's not. This one's not. Those two are suspicious. That one's not. Oh, there it goes. This one's not. That one is. That one is. This one is not. This one isn't. Oh, that one's not. Those two are. Wow, there's a lot of suspicious gravel here. Look at, there's a couple more in the ground, but those are part of blue there. And not black. Wow, that's a lot of suspicious gravel. That's not suspicious. That is. This one is not. That one is not. Oh, look at that. So there's a chest there that we'll have to get rid of this suspicious gravel to get to. Okay. So I figure what we'll do, since we've been doing this for about 2 hours, we'll knock out black here, and then we will call it for the stream. And the rest of this, maybe I'll do as an episode, you know, edit it up and everything. And then do that. That'll air, I don't know, in a couple weeks or something. So let's go ahead and start. We're going to get into creative mode so that I don't need any levels to excavate it, though. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Okay, so first things first. Another wooden hoe. Interesting. Okay. And this is 1279, 49, negative 1780. Oh, you guys like the Fallout New Vegas reference? I don't even remember if that. I don't think that was a B-29 in that game, anyways. Okay. So this is going to be BLK, because BL would be just blue. 27949 negative 1780, or B could be any number of things. B could be brown, blue, or black, or blello. I don't know. All right, so there we go. So O is done. Let's get some of this gravel out of here. Another wooden hoe. So they're farming as well? Okay, interesting. Though you can argue that if it's a wooden hoe, it could also be a symbolic hoe. We don't know if it's an actual tool that was used. It has zero dirt, or it has it's in pristine shape, so it's possible that it was just again, either symbolic or votive offering. You never know. If it had some durability taken away on it, you could say that it was used, but the fact that these are all basically just, you know, pristine, suggests that they weren't used. So yeah, that could be any number of things. That could mean that it's just cached to be used later on, but it could also mean that these were never meant to be used, which is a very interesting idea, because we're finding a lot of hoes here. But you know what else what we're not finding? We're not finding any pickaxes, even though we find precious metals and gems. We also aren't finding any shovels either, or swords, or bows and arrows. I would expect if we are finding wooden hoes that we would also find swords if this place had any kind of issues with raiders or bandits or anything like that. So there's that. Could mean that they were completely 100% peaceful. It could also mean that they were so powerful that nobody messed with them, because either one of those is possible. Their military might not be centered around this little settlement. It could be out in the waters. They could have a very strong navy, and therefore they don't need weapons in their villages. So lots of really neat things can be said about what is here and what is not here. One thing to remember is that a lack of evidence does not give you, was it? No evidence doesn't give you evidence of nothing, or something like that. I can't remember how it goes, but the idea is that just because you don't have something, or don't have evidence of something, doesn't mean that it wasn't there. It should just be there in a different form. Lots of wooden hoes, and in this building too. That's another thing too. This building has tons of wooden hoes. What do you think? We gonna get another wooden hoe here? Looking like it. Well, there goes that. I mentioned axe, or I mentioned weapons, and now I have an axe. Though the axe can also be a tool. The sword is definitely a weapon. An axe, though, can be a tool as well as a weapon. Still up in the air on whether or not these people were violent or experienced violence or had to defend themselves. A shield would be nice. If you could find a shield in here, that would be even better. Okay. Okay. 128049 negative 1782. Also, if you're wondering why I've been doing a lot of streaming lately, it's because I made a huge, horrible mistake and lost a ton of files and folders on my computer. Don't worry, the Skyrim VR is still there. We're good. It's just it set me back in editing on that by a lot, because I should have already had episode 10 and 11 of the Skyrim VR Archaeology videos out already, but because I lost a whole bunch of those files and folders, I had to start re-editing them, which really sucks, but you know, what can you do? So I've been doing some of these live streams to sort of give myself a buffer for some of the editing. Episode 10 of Skyrim VR is almost done being edited, but we're also getting close to that. Oh man, another axe. We're also getting close to that time of the semester where I'm doing a lot of grading as well. So I've been super busy with that. And it's only going to get busier because finals are going to come up, and I'm going to have to grade all of those as well. 128049 negative 1784. So 2 axes and what? Four hoes? Wait, 3 hoes? 3 hoes and 2 axes. That's like I said, maybe tools. Could also be weapons. We'll see. Oh, and actually, those have 100% durability on them as well. So maybe those are also just votive offerings. The world may never... Oh, another X. Ooh, this is very strange. And I'm sure somebody in the comments is going to be like, oh, this is all randomized. Yes, I know. I know it's all randomized. That's not the point of this. The point of this is to approach this like everything is not randomized. And to be honest, it's not all randomized either. It's a very specific table that it chooses from. It's just the order in which you get it is randomized. Every time I point that out, though, it's surprise. I get, you know, crickets from people who want to sit there and split hairs with me. It's almost like they just wanted to talk shit, just to talk shit. So 3 hoes, 3 axes. All right, 50-50. 50-50. Let's see here. All right, let's dig this out. See if there's any more. So this is all blue building. Okay, so there's that one. All right. What do we think? Is it going to be an axe or a hoe? Now, if it is not an axe or a hoe, and it is something like an emerald or a gold nugget, that would suggest that this is in fact what Shiny Object 299 is suggesting, that this might be a toolsmith. This could be somebody who is making this stuff and taking payments. So let's see, because right now we're 3 and 3. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So to all the people who think that this is random, I mean, how did I just predict that? How did I just predict that? I mean, it is random, right? But like, you can see where I'm getting this sort of idea of sort of the background here, a bit of what's going on, what had happened here at this site. That's how you piece together things. And yes, this is random from a very specific tool, or from very specific loot table. But I mean, come on, look at what I just did. Oh, I forgot to grab the coordinates. So there you are. So it is a good possibility that this building is in fact like a toolsmith, some sort of toolsmith. And this is how archaeology works, or at least interpretation works. Because you could also say, oh, well, they have a whole bunch of, they have weapons, you know, in the axe, and a precious gemstone. They could have used the weapons to rob somebody. And then you say, well, what about the hoes? Well, the hoes could be that, you know, when they're not out robbing people, they could be at home farming, which is also a possibility. But you have to weigh the what is possible versus what is more probable. And that is, you know, it's more probable that this person was a vendor. Okay, so we got this last one. All right. Apparently the B-29's preservation is sought after both due to its circumstances as well as being one of the few intact B-29s left. Its main threats at the moment are mussel colonies. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what if it's a sherd? Oh, that could be... Yeah, it depends then. I mean, if it's a sherd, the sherds are used to make the pithos, or the... whatever they call it, the decorated pot. Which could be a storage vessel. Could be a cooking pot. Could be any number of things. In the game, they treat them as storage vessels. So that's what we would probably go with. So let's see what this is. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. I mean, what are the odds that we have a loot table that has X number of items and we have received only 3 of those items in how many suspicious Scrabbles that we have, you know, that we have sort of looked up, that we've exposed here, that we've excavated? Yeah, so is it random? Yes. Is it random from a loot table? Yes, but I also think that, no, a lot of times you can piece together a story. BLK 127850 negative 1784. You know, that's the other thing too. I mentioned that I would do the rest of this and do it as an episode. I could also just keep doing this as a live stream too. We could live stream this project if that's something that would interest people. Neither one of those are suspicious. So there we go. How are we looking? And the floor, or under the floor, I should say. Kind of dark, I can't see. Nope. Okay. Nothing. 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 Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and jump back into creative mode. Let me clear out this. So this is all empty. Okay. So this kind of puts a weird dampener in the well, I don't know. This is all food stuff, right? This is meat that went bad. Wheat that is very salty. Buried treasure map. Coal. I mean, that's obviously being taken from the very same loot table as all the other chests. So I gotta wonder if the chests have a certain loot table and the buildings have a certain loot table for the suspicious gravel. Because remember, the suspicious gravel was added much later than these structures. So okay, so here we go. We're gonna start labeling this. What do we got in the chat? Yeah. Still going? Yep, still going, but finishing up here in a bit. It does interest you guys, so maybe we'll start doing that. I could live stream it as a series, and when it's finished, make a video out of it. I could if I was recording this whole time, but I'm not. Although I guess I could download the stream. But yeah. Maybe I will stream this from here on out. So, and Richard, since you're back, you can answer the question about loot tables and this. People generally tend to think that that these items are all randomized. Well, we got a pretty cohesive story out of this black building. So, curious as to whether or not the building itself has a different loot table than the chests, for one, and whether or not the buildings themselves have their own loot tables. So, just a question. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is 17. This is 19. And this is 27. Okay, looks pretty good. Yeah. See what I mean? We had 3 hoes, 4 axes, and an emerald. So we were thinking that maybe this building is toolsmith. And then this all doesn't really match what we were seeing, but this also matches a lot of the other loot tables from the chests. So yeah. All right, so this building is done. I don't see any more suspicious gravel hanging out. We already checked the under the floor. So go ahead and finish this up. I'm gonna not do the surround. Well, I guess I can do the surrounding. I was gonna not do the surrounding because we've got the other building we got to do, but I can do it over here. And I just won't touch any of this. So that's black done. Let me go ahead and fill in that gap there. This gap here. And let me put that there. And actually, let's fill in any gaps that we got floating. Yeah, see, this one's got some floating gaps as well. There we are. Okay. This one, whoop. Right. Nope. That and that. And this one, that's a window. Okay. All right. In my opinion, it doesn't matter. This whole game is really built on interpretation for creating your own story. That is true. And I do interpretation. So yeah, there we go. Wasn't it 20, not 19? Oh, that object? Oh, I don't know. I thought it was 19. Could have been 20. But yeah, didn't think of it. Too late now. Oh, thank you, Celebrity Sailboats. It's always good to see you in the stream. I don't know if you're just showing, but we were actually going to wrap it up right now because we just finished this, what we're calling the black building. Yes, the buildings draw from 2 different loot tables depending on if the building is a large one or small one. Okay, and then the suspicious gravel has its own separate 3rd loot table. Aha. So is all suspicious gravel in the underwater ruins, do they all pull from the same loot table? That's another question. And then, so yes, that's interesting. I went back in the video and checked. The map was in the 2nd position from the left on the 3rd line. 20. Okay. We will change that. Thank you. 20. There we are. Okay. So while we're still here, let's go ahead and clean up some of this terraforming here. Let's just make it a little bit nicer. This one we're not going to touch because we haven't gotten to it yet. But like this one, you know, we might do something like this. There we go. Yeah, see, it doesn't look too bad. So we got the blue building left. Let's see what's going on with blue building real quick. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that it? Is that it? Really? For blue building? Just the 5? 6, 7? That's not so bad. Probably, I mean, we're not gonna... We definitely want to do that. Yeah, want to do that. We're gonna do this here to support that, and same here. Support that. Oh, and right here. Support that. I was going to call it Walter's Building, but you were all about single-colored banners, so they killed the name us. Wait, so there's still more work to be done? Yes, still more work to be done. Yeah, probably another stream, because we're everyone seems to want to do another stream, which I'm totally okay with. So that's probably what we'll end up doing, is another stream to finish this up. Because it took us, let's see here, two and a half hours to do 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings. So we have 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. So that's another stream to finish this up. And then we got to start clearing this out, which is fine because I've got world edits, so that'll go by fast. And then we got to build some sort of dock, an exhibition area, and then the tunnels that'll come down and wander through here. And if you're wondering sort of where I'm thinking for tunnels, I'm thinking about it coming in right here. So like right here, and then coming off this way, coming this way, coming around this way, coming back through here, coming this way, and meeting back up. So that's my idea. Glass tube that sort of comes around this whole thing and then comes back out this way and back over there. Or maybe even, I don't know, maybe even this way instead of coming in off, because we can just kind of come off and make like a 90-degree turn or something. Anyways, that's the idea there of kind of what I'm thinking about doing. So we'll have to experiment with glass tubes and see which works best, because I mean, we only really need a height of 2, right? So, you know, you only need a tube to really be like this. But this is a terrible way of doing it because you still want to be able to read stuff. So if you have so like, let's say here, we'll do a little bit of experimentation. So let's say I want to have a thing so you can like look and see the building. This is, you want it to be a little bit taller. So maybe even like that. See, that's not so bad. But you still want a walkway, let's say 2 wide. And then maybe you have another one, right? So you'd have a tunnel like that. Well, you'd probably do like this. It'd probably be circular. Like that. Maybe even like that. Yeah, see, that's nice. It's kind of big. But the footprint is, that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see if we even have room to do it 6 wide. I don't even think we have room to do it 6 wide. Ooh, it'd be really close. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it'd be cutting it real close, like right up against some of the buildings. So maybe we have to do 5 wide. You know? So maybe something like, whoops, like this. 5 wide. But the problem with that is I'd want the lecterns to be on both sides. But maybe I'd have to do them something like this, where you have to like zigzag through. I don't know how doable that is. It'd be like, whoops, it'd be like that. You walk through. I don't know, what do you guys think? Yeah, so it'd be like that. I don't know. I mean, I'm not digging it. I'm not digging it at all. What happens if you... I mean, you could always do that, where it's like in the ground. I don't like that either, because then you're stepping on it. Let's see here. You'd vote for another stream too? Yeah, I will probably do another stream then. Wasn't this theoretically all on dry land once upon a century ago? That seems like a glass dome situation unless you're doing an on-land reconstruction. I mean, yeah, we're going to do a glass... we're not going to do a glass dome. We're doing this like it's a real underwater set of ruins. So you don't want to do a glass dome because then the ruins get all screwed up. So we're definitely going to do some sort of like tunnel that goes around it. Okay, so 6-0 for more streams. Okay, we'll do it. We'll do more streams then. We'll do this all on stream. That way it's a stream only type thing. Always build tunnels in odd numbers. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think of that. And I mean, it's not going to be, these aren't going to be like exactly like this where they're real close together. They're going to be fairly far apart anyway, so it'll be like this. So I mean, you know, that might be the closest that you get. So it'd be something like that. Well, that's not too bad then. Single path down the middle works. Yeah, okay. It's good design, though maybe I wouldn't make it all glass. Well, I mean, we need to be able to see everything. So it will probably be all glass. Though, you know what we could do? Come on, do we have it? We gotta have it. Haha. We can make bulkheads. How cool would that be? You'd have copper bulkheads. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? Or you could even do like this. We just have to really sprinkle them in. Is there another one? There should be another one though, right? Or is there another one? Looks like it's, yeah, see, there's also this, which looks like it has rivets. Oh my god, will you just go? Thank you. Yeah, see, that's kind of cool. Keystones are important. It will look better at scale. Yeah, I agree with the old times made my... Yeah, that's true. Lecterns block water. Oh, interesting. So I could put them into the glass? How would that look? Well then, because I got to put a book on it, and it would look kind of funky with the book. Maybe I can try that. Dream excavation video tour. That's a good idea too. Think the roof of the tunnel should not be just glass. Yeah, so I don't know, I think that bulkhead is kind of neat. Or the idea of a bulkhead. Yep. Steampunky. What about grates? What do the grates look like? Do they I bet they waterlog too, don't they? I don't know. I don't know. Not digging it. The other thing to do would be to actually make it like a bulkhead. So like as you go, you have to like step through it and you get to the next one. But that's, oh no, I don't like that. I mean, I like that. That's cool. I could even do something like that. So it like sticks in. No, I don't like that. Okay. If you're getting rid of the keystone look, you could go back 6 wide. Yeah, and well, 6 wide's a little too wide for the way through. So I think we're going to be stuck with doing the 5 wide at this point. JG here. Welcome. We're kind of wrapping it up. Minecraft simplicity does help, and that all people are only 1 block wide. That's true. Yep. Copper trap doors on the floor. Ooh, that might look good. That might look good. Let's try that. See what that looks like. Oh, the only thing is I can't put the carpet. I can do like, I mean, I can make the bulkhead sort of stick out a little bit though, which is doable. But yeah, I couldn't do the carpet. I'd have to do, what I could do is I could do just a wool floor instead. So like that. Which actually isn't that bad. Which wouldn't look too bad. Yeah. Yeah, because then that's really looking like a bulkhead. You know, I could even do stairs to sort of make it more of an arch. So what's it look like with stairs? Oh, look at that. Now we're getting somewhere. Yeah, how's that look? That looks pretty good. Yeah, that actually looks really good. What happens if we do like a real thin... Whoops. A real thin bulkhead. Eh. No, I think the solid blocks look best. What if it's these, though? Yeah, okay. All right, what else we got? User grates for the floor. Yeah, we could do that. Or the copper trap doors on the floor. Yeah, we could do that. Well, we can't do the trap doors because it'd have to replace this block. So we could do the grates, which would suggest that, you know, water gets evacuated. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. That looks pretty good. So maybe we'll do the grates. Otherwise, if we do anything else, it'd have to be like that. Which, no, I like the grates. I think that would be the way to go, is the grates. The grates, to suggest that there's some sort of water evacuation. Maybe this leaks from time to time. I don't know. Maybe the roof could have a row of copper, another block to show structural integrity. Well, I don't know about like coming. I want people to be able to see up and out and stuff. So this is just, the bulkhead would just be aesthetics, really. I mean, that's all it would be. Stairs on the outside corners. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know why I, or maybe... Let's see which one looks better. Looks a little too thick over here for my liking. But it definitely needs something on that corner. And I think... Ooh. That's a tough call. That's a real tough call. We'll have to come back to that one. Shiny outer stairs on the outside corner. Okay, what about a yellow caution sign somewhere to warn past spill on the floor? Yeah, what would we do for that one? It'd have to be like a banner. It'd have to be a banner, like a yellow banner. Oh. Yeah, see, I could set it into the Oop. Oh, interesting. I can do that. Well, now we're just getting silly with it. Oh, a slab? Yeah, let's try a slab. And then I gotta wrap this up because I still got a bunch of grading I gotta do. I definitely want to get some of that done. Slab's not bad. Ah, no, that definitely needs to be stairs. On the inside. Slab's not bad. Yeah, we'll play around with it. We'll see what it looks like. Bottom trapdoor to the outside, it would look nearly circular. Oh yeah, it would. It definitely would. So we do something like that. And get rid of that. Oops. Get rid of that. Don't get rid of that. Oop. Yeah, that looks pretty good. That looks really good, actually. That was a good suggestion. I like that one. I like that a lot. Okay. We're gonna call it right there. All right. Because that's, I mean, we're getting a little late in the day. And like I said, I still got a lot of grading I got to do because I don't want to keep these students waiting. And I do also have a lot of work I got to do on the simulation for Mitru. So, you know, there's that. So, with that being said, you guys did want this to be a reoccurring stream, so we'll do this as a reoccurring stream. I'm gonna try to knock out Skyrim VR. The next episode for next Saturday. And the nice thing about this world is that this world is a server. That's how I was able to invite Oda out and Millie and Impala and Harold. And you know, maybe, you know, I'll send out the invites again, or I'll send out the invites to all of them and say, hey, if you ever see me streaming and you want to come hang out for a bit, you know, come and join me for a bit. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they join me and just kind of we screw around and do some of this excavation and have fun, because I think that would be also pretty fun too, just to kind of do that from time to time. Plus, it'll keep them from having to come up with their own video. They could just also stream at the same time too, and it'd take a little bit off of their plate. But yeah, so I think that's what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna be done for today. So if I don't get the Skyrim VR episode 10 out this next Saturday, we'll do this stream again. I also have a project coming up that I am very slowly sort of working on. Richard knows what I'm talking about. And I'm probably going to start dropping some teasers for that soon. And that'll be a cool series coming up. Something that a lot of people have suggested in the past. So yeah, let's just quickly, before we leave, we're going to go over exactly what we did today. So what we did is just like a terrestrial excavation. We cleared out the vegetation. We also took away all of the water, which is not how you would do it in an underwater archaeology setting. Again, I'm not an underwater archaeologist. You would never do something like this. You would actually dive on this. And then we also started the stream off with restoring this this ruined nether portal. By the way, what is in this chest? I never even checked. Okay. Not bad. So yeah, so this will be a feature of the archaeology world that people can check out and see, and I'll have a nice little infographic there, or an info thing. And then next stream, what we will do is we will wrap up buildings blue, brown, and white, and move on to the 2 orange buildings and see how far we get with those. If we knock them out all the way, then that's great. If not, no biggie. And then yeah, we'll work on doing maybe the tunnel, maybe just clearing that off. And yeah, so there we have it. I am going to go ahead and get this stream to end. There is going to be a big lag. I don't know, like a 30-second lag or something from when I hit stop streaming. So that's why I'm also talking right now, because I am talking from in the future to what you're seeing, or I guess to what I'm seeing. So yeah, anyways, there we have it. I will see you next time, either with Skyrim VR, or we'll do another stream. So you guys, yeah, take care. I'll see you next week.